Now let me tell you the really bad news. And this is bad news for the state as a whole, but it's especially bad news for any of the public employees. The state employees, the policemen, the firemen, our municipal employees. They count on the state retirement system. They're all covered under one system. The way you measure the health of a retirement system is by a number called the unfunded liability, which means if the retirement system has obligations and it looks like there's no way they're going to be able to pay some of them, those are liabilities that are not yet funded, unfunded liabilities. When I left in '89, the unfunded liability was 0. Over the next few years after that, it moved up and down by about $50, $100 million as the markets went up and down. It was virtually 0 for a long time until a few years into this 12-year cycle of Democratic governors. And then all of a sudden, it started going up rather dramatically. There's a liberal group in Concord, the Committee for Public Policy, New Hampshire Commission for Public Policy, that takes a look at things like this. In October 2007, they took a look at what the unfunded liability was at that time. And lo and behold, under these Democratic governors, and now at that time the democratically controlled legislature, it had grown to $2.4 billion. Now, when I took over this responsibility of trying to find out what was going on in the state, I tried to find out what the unfunded liability was. I couldn't find out. I learned a long time ago that if you want to find out what's going on in a state or a city or a town or a company that's traded publicly, you go and look at their bond statement. When they go out to raise money with bonding, they have to put out a statement that has to be accurate. The state went out to borrow money in March of 2009, and there's a section in there called retirement system. And it's not easy reading, but if you read through it, you read and discover there's the obligations for retirement, and on top of that there's the obligations for health care for those that have retired, and then there's another obligation called OPEB, O-P-E-B, other post-employment benefits. And when you add them all up, they list them there. The unfunded obligation of the retirement system to the retirees of the state of New Hampshire, state employees, teachers, firemen, policemen, municipal employees, is almost $7 billion. $7 billion. Which means if you try and fix it over 20 years, you have at least a $350 million problem every year. The Democrats are ruining the state of New Hampshire.